So, welcome to this video, and in this video we are going to talk about something known as list comprehension. And you should understand this particular topic in a very broad way because it is really important to understand this topic. So we have sequence is equal to, let's say, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, let's say. And list comprehension, I'll tell you the function of list comprehension when we'll see the difficult part of the code, and then how list comprehension is solving that. So let's implement a block of code. Just do that along with me, and then I'll tell you the benefit of using list comprehension. So I'll say out is equal to this curly square braces, and I'll say for this is the empty list here. Okay, this is the empty list that later on we are going to use that, and I'll say for number in sequence, I'll say that out dot append, I'll say what, num to the power 2. Okay, let's run this code, and we are having something, and let's print out the out here. Okay, so we'll be having 1 comma 4 comma 9 comma 6. So just to square the elements, we are wasting 3 memories here. First memory is this empty list. Okay, second is we are wasting the CPU memory by calculating by making the use of for loop, and then third we are appending it. One more operation is getting started because of the append operation, and then this operation is getting performed. So a lot of things is going on in these 4 lines of code. So how list comprehension does that? It is going to remove all these code from here, and we just have to implement the list comprehension. So let me tell you in short how list comprehension works is that let me tell you 2 points here. We can implement the above code. Okay, we can implement the above code using list comprehension. Let me just comprehension in a shorter way. Okay, shorter way. And in the second point, I'll say that it is kind of for loop but backwards. Okay, it is kind of for loop but it is backwards. Okay, let me tell you what do I mean by that. So basically what we are going to implement this sequence. Let's take this sequence and put this inside cell to understand it quickly. And to implement the sequence, let's say we are to implement the list comprehension, we'll open a square braces, and in the list comprehension, whatever the loop you want to run, just put that loop inside that square braces. Okay, whatever the loop you want to run, just put that inside square braces. Now you are looping over this particular sequence of elements, and whatever the operation you want to perform on each and every element of this sequence. Okay, in this case we want to perform the power operation and then store it inside a new list. What is happening in these 3 lines of code? We are basically iterating over the sequence, then we are calculating the power of each and every sequence and then appending it inside the out list. Okay, and then it is presenting us the power the power of 2 for each and every element of this sequence. So that is what we want to do here also. So first of all, we are iterating over this. We are iterating over, just like in this case, we are iterating over all the elements, and we want to perform the power on each and every element, the power to the 2. I mean the power by 2. That means number to the power 2. We want to perform that. Just whatever you want to perform it, just type num to the power 2 here, and then run the code. It will give us the same output that it does for this particular line. So all these 3 lines is converted into 1 line here. Only one line is there to do the work of these 3 lines. For the new programmers, it must feel something like difficult, but it is not at all. It's really handy, and in machine learning we are going to use that heavily. I'm telling you, we are going to use that heavily. Okay, so sequence. Again, I'm telling you that out is equal to square braces for num in sequence, appending it. So a lot of things is going on in this. So all the things is going to be calculated in the one place only, okay, at the one line of statement only. So simply, whenever you want to perform any kind of operation on the element of the list, just iterate over the list, iterate over the collection of element, and do whatever you want to perform. You want to perform power by 2, just do that here. You want to perform division by 2, you can do that here. You can you want to print like what you want. You want addition by some number. It's just a small thing I'm telling you. You can do much more than that. Okay, so that is what the beauty of this list comprehension is, and we are going to use that heavily in the machine learning. But don't worry, if you don't understand it right now, watch this video again, you will understand very quickly. Okay, and still you have some problem, post it in the discussion forum. I'll answer them, I'll clear your doubt. But don't worry, when we are going to use this list comprehension in the projects, you will understand very quickly. Okay, when you will see the practical example of it. So now let's talk about functions quickly. Now let's talk about functions, and functions are very handy in the programming languages, not even Python. In any programming language, it will allow you to reuse the repeated code efficiently, I can say efficiently. Okay, it will allow you to reuse the repeated code efficiently. What do we mean by that? If I have def my function, let's say my func, and we'll have print execute some lines of codes. Okay, so it will not print anything. I'll say my underscore func, and I'll say this. So this is known as non-parameterized function. Basically there is no parameter, and just we are implementing it. Now let's talk about the parameterize. So when put this here, and when we'll have any kind of parameter, let's say param1. Okay, and now if we are implementing this, and now if I say my func, and if I run this code, it will not run because it expects one parameter. You'll see the output, sorry, you'll see the error. It is missing one positional argument, param1. That means it needs some value inside this function to execute this. So let's put that something like hello or something. Okay, let's put that hello something, and it will execute some lines of code. Okay, let's make it little meaningful. Let's make it a little meaningful. I'll say my underscore function. I'll say I'll be accepting a name here, and I'll be printing hello, my name is, and I'll say plus, and I'll do it name like this. Okay, so if I call the my function here, without providing any value to the parameter, it will again give us the output. And if I give the parameter like Samir or something, it will give us the hello, my name is Samir. And now what do I mean by reuse the repeated code efficiently? Now whenever we want to print anyone's name, we just need to call the function and provide it the name like let's say Ayush or something. And if I print that, it will say hello, my name is Ayush, and that is how it becomes really useful. Now you don't need to put, you don't need to make function for every time you want to print a name. So that not function, you don't need to write every time you want to print a name. Okay, so that is why it is really useful. The functions are very useful in programming language, in any programming language that you study, and you must already know that. I know that you know that. okay, that becomes tongue twister. So let's move forward. Let's take it a very more meaningful example. Like if I want to calculate a square or something, I'll say I'll accept a number there, and then I'll say return. Will be using return here, num to the power 2. Okay, so let's calculate the square of a number. Let's say I'm squaring the number called 4, and it will say 16. Again, if I say I want to calculate a square of, let's say, 2, it will give us the 4. So basically that is what like return does. It will return the value. It will return the value and you can store that somewhere. For example, if I say sq is equal to square of, let's say, 16. So now you can store the number, store the square of 16, and you can use anywhere you want. Okay, that's now the number sq is having the square of 16, which is 256. Now you can store it somewhere and you can use it anywhere you want. Let's say you want to add that if from 35, let's say, just taking random example, you can easily use that returned value anywhere you want. Okay, so that is what the beauty of functions are. It's very useful, very handy. We're going to use a lot of functions in machine learning. So let's move forward with it. I'll say how, and now let's talk about the documentation strings. Okay, documentation strings, and that is a very useful thing in Python. Okay, so basically in this particular thing, I'm going to explain you how you can add your documentation string to a function. Whenever you are creating a function, it is recommended that you should have a documentation string to get help when you come back to your function. And when you will be code after, let's say, 3 or 4 months, and you'll be easily able to understand what is going on with the function. So if I'll say def square, let's do that. Let's just quickly copy the code from there itself, and it will be much easier for us. And if I type like this, it is basically what it is doing. It is basically calculating the square of a number. So to add documentation string, remember I was using this triple inverted comma before, like this. Okay, it is kind of comment that is ignored by the interpreter. It is ignored by the interpreter, but here if I use like this, okay, and if I go inside this, I can say that this is the doc string. Okay, this is the doc string, and it can also go multiple lines. There is no problem in that. It can also go multiple lines. Okay, and basically I'll say this function squares a number. Okay, like the you are giving the explanation of this square. So this function squares the number. Now if I run the code, okay, and if I want to take the help that what this square function is doing, okay, if I want to take the help what this square function is doing, I'll run this code, and it will say square num. It takes one parameter, and it says that this is a doc string. It can go multiple lines, and this function squares a number. So whenever you type help here and do something here, it will give you the documentation string or help string easily. Okay, you get that. And the inbuilt function have lot of documentation string already included, so that people can understand what is going on in a function. So that is what the documentation string does, and it will work as completely normal as it was working before. No changes will be there, and you can see the output now. So that's it for this particular video. So we talked about the functions and list comprehension. In the next lecture, we are going to talk about maybe lambda expressions and map, reduce, and filters, all this kind of stuff. So make sure you come to the next lecture, and let's meet in the next lecture.